Which has the better stabilization, gimbals or GoPros? Is GoPro stabilization better than a gimbal? Let's find out. What up nerds, I'm Jay Sharif and I just bought my first waterproof gimbal. In my last video I unboxed and tested the FeiyuTech Vimble 2, which is a kind of gimbal and selfie stick hybrid. It's a fantastic product and it worked really well at stabilising my smartphone to let me record some very smooth video footage. However, it wasn't the right device for me for two main reasons. Firstly, it's designed for a very limited range of payloads. It couldn't cope with my heavy smartphones and it couldn't stabilise my lightweight action cameras either. Secondly, the device isn't really designed for British weather. Now, I live in a city in the middle of England that sits on a plateau. Basically, I'm at an elevation of about 500 feet or 150 metres. That means it rains here. It rains a lot. That's one of the reasons why I always try and choose waterproof watches, phones, cameras and rugged gadgets in general. The other reason being that my kids are basically 3-foot tornadoes and they've broken a lot of my favourite kit over the years. Now, in my last video I told you I was thinking of buying the FeiyuTech G6 Plus gimbal. But that $200 price tag really put me off. Luckily there is a heavy duty and waterproof FeiyuTech gimbal that you can pick up for about $120. Not new, but refurbished. And here it is. It's called the FeiyuTech SPG2 and it seems to be perfectly suited to my needs. Our smartphones are getting bigger and bigger, screens between 6 and 7 inches are the norm now, blurring the lines between phones and tablets. And this gimbal is designed to cope with the new generation of heavy smartphones, anything up to 300 grams in weight and about 95 millimeters in width. It's also splashproof, so you can use it in the rain. I bought this one from a very reputable company called Len Carter. They haven't sponsored me in any way, I paid out of my own pocket, but I will leave a link in the description to their website. They do sell new products too, but this one is refurbished and was priced at £90, so about $115. I also bought myself a gimbal travel bag from Amazon, which cost about £20 or $25. It's big enough to carry your gimbal, your smartphone and a few charging cables, so the ideal product for when you're out and about making videos. Again, the link will be in the description. Now, this gimbal is designed for smartphones. One of the first questions I had was, will this work with action cameras? The answer is yes and no. Out of the box, no, it probably won't, and I won't even bother trying. However, there are adapters that you can buy that will allow you to use popular action cameras like the GoPros and the DJI Osmo Action. I'll link to those too. However, the newer high-end action cameras have exceptionally good built-in stabilization, especially the Hero 8 and the Osmo Action, so it's probably not worth the cost and effort to stick those on a gimbal. But if you're using an older or cheaper action camera, then the gimbal adapters are worth considering.
What's in the box?
Alright, calm down, Bradley. I'm opening the box.
What's in the fucking box?
It's Kevin Spacey's career. Also, a gimbal. FeiyuTech do seem to pack their gimbals really well, and it's quite a nice experience unboxing them. As usual, there's some high quality polystyrene to keep it safe during shipping. You get the gimbal, a rechargeable battery that's supposed to be good for 14 hours per charge. There's also a small tripod and a cable for charging it, and also in case you want to use the gimbal as a power bank. Immediately I noticed this is much sturdier than my last gimbal. That was the FeiyuTech Vimble 2, and that was a very sturdy device anyway. But this one has a couple of different features. Firstly, it has an OLED display, which is bound to be useful when you're using the device. Secondly, it has something FeiyuTech call the magic ring, which sounds dirty to me. Would you like to play with my magic ring? Oh yes, twist it baby, push it harder. The gimbal itself weighs 440 grams, that's about a pound for you Americans, and some of that is due to this big fat removable battery. Now I love removable batteries, but they're so rare in gadgets nowadays, and even rarer in weather resistant gadgets. Like all good gimbals, it has a 1/4 inch hole at the bottom so you can mount it on a tripod. That's particularly useful if you're planning to use it for certain kinds of time-lapse videos. If you are willing to download and use the FeiyuTech app, then you will, in theory, be able to use the gimbal to control your phone in many different creative ways using these handy controls here, including manual focusing, which is quite a useful feature. I probably won't download the app, however, as it gets terrible reviews on Google Play, and the gimbal can do most of what I need straight out of the box. Now that's all well and good on paper, but I need to go and test this out in the real world. Right, so as you may be able to see, the gimbal is now fully charged. I've balanced the phone on top of it, ready to go. Let's try this out. So this is my PGYTECH Gimbal Bag. It is just about the right size for the gimbal, I believe. Really good stitching, very high quality it seems, probably waterproof. This external pocket is perfect for keeping leads and possibly a spare battery if you have one. And inside we've got plenty of room for keeping a gimbal, at least a normal one anyway. Hopefully the one that I bought also fits just as well. Let's give that a go. Okay, so immediately we have a small problem here, which is that if you put your smartphone on your gimbal, it will not fit inside the case. It'll be hanging out of it. But if you take the smartphone off your gimbal, you will be able to put them both inside. Now I have a pretty big smartphone, and actually it fits quite well inside this outside pocket, which closes up, and now I've got my gimbal and my smartphone in the same bag. Perfect. You know, it's really obvious that the universe has a sense of humour, because here I am, outside, ready to test my waterproof, weatherproof GoPro against my brand new weatherproof gimbal, and would you believe it, bright sunshine. But that's alright, we're not here to test the weatherproofing, we're here to test the stability. Right, time to see if this works as well as I hope it does. So this is just a gentle walk. Let's see how this is working out. How does it compare? Obviously the GoPro has electronic stabilization and the gimbal has gimbal stabilization. I'm expecting you're not seeing a huge difference right now. I would hope so anyway. Now right now the gimbal is on something called follow mode. However, I can put it into lock mode. Right, so this is what lock mode looks like on this gimbal. No matter what you do, it always faces the same way. And this is basically kind of a follow mode. Ooh, doesn't like that. So as you pan, it slowly, smoothly follows you. And now we're back to lock mode, which means it stays pointing in the same direction always. Right, so right now the gimbal is in lock mode. And let's see how these two fare when I go for a bit of a run. Are you noticing anything? Is it obvious now? Is it obvious which one's better? I think it is. I think it's obvious it's the gimbal. Sorry, GoPro. How does it compare? That is very good. Oh, trees. Yeah, I think it's obvious. I think it's very obvious that the gimbal is far superior to the electronic stabilization of the GoPro. And on that bombshell, it's time to say goodbye. Later, nerds. I will say that gimbal is heavy and my arms do hurt after just 10 minutes of using it. I'm really glad I didn't get the heavy one, that's for sure.